So this was my vision with the car. And check it out. Looks great.
Sollen wir dann nicht nochmal klar zumachen und dann aufmachen?
Ja.
Jetzt seht ihr, wie alles
Retake. So, jetzt muss ich mal gerade die Notizen rausholen. Alright, where to begin, where to begin. You know all those YouTubers that have like the super simple camera setup but have this huge mic in front of their face? Hey, what's up? My name is Joey and this is my 1998 Nissan Stagea RS4V. It's been imported 2021 from Japan to Germany. The whole process of importing it and everything is on here or there. You can go click on it after the video. It's down in the description as well. It's a bit dirty now, but we just took it out of winter sleep. I did take some notes because it's been a while. It's been a long process of getting it to the point that it is at now. And yeah, let's get this party started. So the mic is good. Yeah, sound is there. Ooh, yeah. Past 3 years have been absolutely wild. So I found this car on BeForward. It's a website that specializes in, you know, car exporting. It was a local dealer in Japan that had this car, and I looked through the pictures and looked pretty good. Bit rusty on the pictures, but when the car got here, it wasn't actually as bad as it looked because the car is very healthy. Rust-wise, just on the underneath, you know, on the back where all the water splashes up, all the dirt and grime. So ever since I was young, I was always into Japanese cars. First, I got into them when, of course, Fast and Furious movies came out. I watched the first one, the second one, Tokyo Drift I saw in the theaters back in the day, and that was super cool. And I was the kid playing Need for Speed Underground 1 all summer long. In school, getting excited to go back home to play Need for Speed Underground and try to beat the next race. The whole car scene, all the vibes back in the day, they really got me interested in the cars. Also, my dad had this super cool, I'll show some pictures here, had this super cool A-Corsa Opel that was built by the previous owner for hill climbing races. And my stepdad in that time had the TRD Celica. He imported it from the States with this awesome body kit on it, had a carbon hood and everything. So both cars super sick, very loud and you know, pretty quick for me as a kid. I was in car heaven as a kid. So cool, all the toys like Jada or extreme tuners. Back then in the early 2000s when I grew up, everything was about tuning. You were flooded with stuff back then. It was insane. All the magazines. I remember I got my first import tuner magazine when I was like, what was I, like 8 years old, 7 years old, something like that. I carried it everywhere. I took it to school. I took it to my grandma's house. Took it everywhere we went. So always looking through that over and over again through that magazine. Absolute legendary time period back then. Through that, I guess, you know, this nerdiness started. And now fast forward 20 years, can't believe I'm saying it's 20 years already. Here's my Stagea. You know, I always wanted to have the poster car, you know, get the R34, save all the tuning and everything up until that point, so I never modified my previous cars. I had some really cool cars over the time, but I always saved that for the car, you know, and well, turned out to be a Stagea, not an R34. You know, back in 2021, all the car prices, especially for JDM cars, went through the roof. So what went through my mind was, do I go for it now or do I wait and the prices keep going up? So back then I scrapped all the money together that I could. And you know the feeling as a car guy when you go through the pictures and, you know, decide on, okay, I want to buy this one car and it has to be the one, and then you find the pictures and you're just scrolling through all the options that you have, the cars available online, and you see that one car, you know, that grabs your attention out of whatever reason. I don't know why, but this one popped up and I was like, ooh, that's the one. So I looked through the pictures. It had a really cool body kit. It's the factory option Days body kit, front bumper and rear lip, like beneath the bumper itself. And it also has some other goodies on it. We'll go into it further in future videos. But it's a really cool car and it's very clean. So starting the process of importing the car in 2021 was very exciting. Also very scary because I never sent so much money overseas to some random person I don't know. Good for me that everything worked out perfectly and the guys were legit. Still a scary time, you know. The ship that the Stagea came with was supposed to be delayed because of that whole pileup in that one area. I don't remember where. Neil? Oh, yeah. Got stuck there. But anyways, it didn't get stuck. All the other boats got stuck, thankfully. The process started 2021, and 2022 was a pretty crazy time for me because my grandma actually passed away from stage 4 liver cancer, which was very sudden and not really something we knew about. So it was a pretty hard time. The car came shortly after. So trying to be there 100% at my job, you know, do good. I'm taking care of all the family business and that stuff that was going on. And also getting this thing ready for the street. And through that whole ordeal, you know, I really bonded with the car. As weird as that sound, I wanted to give something back to the car and restore it. So take care of all the rust underneath, you know, refresh everything. And believe me, never doing something noteworthy on the car before and then getting a car that's not even like made for your country. In your country, it was only made for Japan, and trying to get all the parts during the whole restoration process and everything was a huge undertaking. I never really wrenched on cars before, and it was just so funny because the moment I decided I wanted to restore the car, I had no idea what I was doing. I was looking into it, you know, what companies could help me get all this stuff done. First, I wanted to go with foil and just, you know, remove the rust and take care of all that, go with the foil. Then we met this guy 2 weeks later while food shopping, an old friend of my dad's, and he's a body guy. So he does car body stuff on really old Porsches and all that stuff. So we got talking and I told him what my plans were, and pretty much like a few weeks later, we sat down, we made plans of what we want to get done, and we started. So thanks to him and my dad really helped me a lot during that time too, driving me up there and back and everything. And friends like Dennis and everyone, thank you guys so much, because without you this would not have been possible. And I'm very, very grateful to have met certain people along the way and to, you know, get it to the state that it's at right now. So normally when you're into cars, you go ahead and purchase a car in your country that's from the country you probably live in, or somewhere near that you can get parts for, that's not too complicated to work on at first. Also, the knowledge is not hard to get to. With this, it was very difficult, and that's the rabbit hole I went down, because, you know, once you start taking apart a car, well, there's more stuff that you need to do than you planned on doing. All right, so let me show you the progress so far. We took apart the whole car. My dad helped, and also the guy that does the bodywork for us. And check this out. So all the doors are off. Interior, I took apart all of this stuff, so there's nothing left in the car that could potentially get in the way of removing all the rust. All the spots on the outside, like this spot right here, this dent, and also this dent is starting to rust. So we're gonna take care of this. And also the car has, you know, minor rust for being the first winter in Germany. It's got some stuff that we have to take care of so it doesn't rust any further. Also, if you do have a Stagea out there, if you're one of the cool guys, there's a spot that you have to look out for. So if you take apart the rear end, and you're gonna look underneath here, there, right there. So there's a little rust spot that goes all the way along. That definitely needs to be taken care of. Other than that, it does not look bad at all. So the car's in really good condition. No rust up here beneath the railing up top, and pretty much nowhere else, just on the bottom, and especially the back here where we've already got it sandblasted. The car looks really good. Next step is sanding it all down, getting it repainted, and also taking care of the rust, removing all of that. Let's see what the next steps are. Say hi, Dad. Hi. It was very, very scary because once we started taking everything apart and it got real for me that we, you know, started taking care of the rust underneath, I was sitting there for hours underneath the car during winter in a cold as hell, just on the ground, grinding away all the rust underneath. Switching to cell phone cam real quick because I'm under the car and we have started sanding down the bottom of the car. Right now I am trying to get the bolts loose from the rear axle because we started sanding it down. But as you can see, like, hold on, let me show you. It's really hard to get to all places here. If you want to just sand it down by hand, it's probably easier to get it sandblasted. So I'm taking it off, getting it sandblasted. So everything is perfect because I only want to do this once. We already started to sand all the rust away underneath here. This got sandblasted, the back part, because as you can see in the reflection here, there was a bit of corrosion here, but actually not that bad. It looked worse than it was. Also the tow hook right here, that looked really bad, and I'm actually very pleased with how it looks right now. We're gonna take off the axles, sand the rest of the body down. There's not that much rust to begin with, as you can see here. It does not have any sort of undercoat, of course, except for the wheel wells here. But other than that, there's not really much undercoat, and for that, not much rust. Even the wheel wells here, no, the wheel arches I think it's called, there's not really much rust going on here. There was a starting bit of corrosion here, but not bad at all. So yeah, we're gonna take everything off, sand the rest of the body down. So what I'm doing now is cleaning off the bolts, so the nut can actually grab them. Get some WD-40 sprayed onto it afterwards, so the bolt is nice and clean, and we can go ahead and take them off. It takes a lot of strength, so if you do this and you have your car on jack stands, definitely support yourself with like a foot against something that can't go away, so you don't pull the car off the jack stands, because that just almost happened. It doesn't make it easier that I do not know crap about cars, only from YouTube, and also, you know, had to rely on a lot of friends, what they know, and also grind through forums, old forums from the early 2000s, mainly Australia. There's a lot going on there with Stageas. So I was able, through forums and through countless hours of surfing the web and trying to find all that stuff, you know, all the information that I needed, what parts were on this car, which would have been okay if there weren't that many parts that were special to the Stagea, and not just special to the Stagea, but special to the RS4 model, to the automatic model. So every different variant of this car has like different special parts for it, plus all the other cars that Nissan produce. Somehow, parts found their way into here. So anyways, the first steps were taking apart the car, taking the bumpers off, taking everything off. We decided to take off the rear subframe as well to, you know, refresh it all the way, because I started grinding away the rust, but I couldn't get to every part. So we dropped the subframe, got the gas tank out to get that sandblasted, and also, repowder coated, so it's definitely safe from rust. Alright, so let's give you a quick update from the underbody. After getting all the other stuff done, I got under the car, and you can see here, well, without the light it's even better. I removed the rust first, primered everything, and then did the entire underbody in black. And boy, that looks so neat. Especially if you remember the back. Look at how neat it looks now. No more rust. Everything is perfect in black. And I did that all by hand, which was a whole ton of work. Even in here, it looks absolutely perfect now. You can see where I had to remove some of the body liner over there to get to the rust. I also did the front wheel wells and everything. This is not going to come out now, because removing the front subframe and everything requires so much work, and that is a thing I'm going to do once the engine comes out, because to be honest, there's almost no rust on here, as you can see. So really doesn't make sense to do it right now. I mean, it would, but if I do that, I'm gonna do the whole engine bay, which I don't have the funds right now. That kind of, goes over budget. So engine bay and everything is gonna be separate process. The engine itself also, I'm gonna do that all in one with the front subframe and all of that stuff. But for now, check it out. All the rust is gone. Got like paint everywhere. There wasn't a lot of rust to begin with, which is super sick. So we removed all of it from the bottom. The car is pretty much perfect now. Underneath it's compared to before, so I'm super happy with that. The next steps are ordering all this stuff. These parts here are still gonna get sandblasted. I've ordered a bunch of new parts. Some of them aren't even here. Anyways, if you have any questions about the interior, how to take anything apart, or for example this part right here, shoot me a message. I'm happy to help. And yeah, keep enjoying the movie. Can't wait till this build is finished by the end of this video. Oh, and before I forget, because I am getting a new Atessa accumulator, the pressured can that's going on here to pressurize the system, which is right in here, I can show you. This thing right here, brand spanking new, super freaking expensive this part. But that's gonna go on there too, and I also cleaned up the all-wheel drive system a little bit, the pump and all the other stuff that's on here, cleaned it up, primered it and painted it. So that's gonna turn out really, really nice. Also, all the other hoses except this one's pretty good still. All the other ones are gonna get changed. And this part I am changing to pressurize the system because my relay in the front, let me show you. So there is this relay on the driver's side, right-hand drive. So this is the driver's side. That relay right there. So that kept clicking every 10 to 20 seconds, which is a sign for the system not being pressurized enough. So the pump is working overtime pretty much. Every time this thing clicks, the pump is working, which is not supposed to be every 10 to 20 seconds. So this needs to be changed. And if I have everything out already anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and change this. So yeah, super excited to not only restore the Stagea, but also to make it better again. Everything that we could get to that was in the rear of the car, starting from the middle. After the transmission, we pretty much refreshed everything, took away all the rust, repainted everything. So it looks really, really good underneath now. We changed the exhaust because the exhaust was totally done after almost 30 years. So after that time, the exhaust looked the part, so we took that off, put a new one on there. And so for an entire year, 2022 to 2023, so we started in September 22, and all the way to September 23, we were always constantly working on the car. All right, so we have the rear axle back together, for the most part. All the nuts and bolts have completely been re-zinced, so this looks beautiful. All the new hardware, everything re-zinced, beautiful. Diff is already filled, so pretty much almost good to go. Now the only thing to do is retighten all the nuts and bolts. I already tightened these, but I still have to mark them. I'm waiting on the pen to arrive. And I'm so glad I went with the OEM Nissan boots, because they look so much sturdier than the aftermarket ones. We have everything assembled, very, very nice. Also we have the all-wheel drive system back on. These parts I didn't clean up because there's not really rust, but everything else was refinished, as you can see. And protected with some primer and some paint. Oh, this, by the way, this was a piece that used to have this shape, but the old one was like crusty and nasty, so we changed it to a new one. And of course it didn't have the shape, it's just a straight line. So we had to improvise a little bit so it doesn't bend through. So my 9 to 5 was from literally 9 to 6 p.m., 9 in the morning to 6 p.m. I would get up in the morning, work, get off of work, you know, take a quick shower sometimes when I had time, changed into work clothing, and then my dad and I drove up to my buddies up in the hall where the car was located at. Then we got to work there until 10 p.m. or sometimes even in the morning. And then we went back the next day, the same thing. On the weekends we were there from like morning till evening. It was absolutely insane. It was very wild. So I was pretty burnt out after that time. Danke für die Hilfe. Alright, so rear axle is back in. Let's see how it looks underneath it. Let me turn on the light. Oh man, look at that. Theoretically nothing should fall except for that. Perfect. Nice. Yep. Everything is perfect. All new hosing, all new bushings everywhere. Everything is PU. And everything is coated nicely. All the screws are new. Well, they're re-zinced because new ones would be way too expensive. But looks great. Now we're gonna mark the subframe bolts with this. So we know if anything loosens up. Check it occasionally once it gets back on the road. And we're good to go. Yeah, so let's put the tank back in. And it's almost ready for paint. Nice. But we also need to bleed the Atessa system and everything, so still a lot of work. Now we're gonna do the first start. There's no exhaust on the car. We just took off the charger from the battery because that was dead yesterday. And yeah, let's see if it starts. We primed the system and now let's hope it starts.
Ready?
Yo.
Steady. Go.
It's not come up. There we go. Now the belt is fine. Yeah. Nice. So everything works. Now I'm gonna check for leaks, but I think it's gonna be good. And then we're gonna get it down from the stands and see if we can make the wheels fit. But should be fine. Most people go with the engine first, go with the drivetrain first, but since this car runs so perfectly smooth, hope that stays that way, we went to refresh the whole underbody so it wouldn't rust away, especially in German roads. Even though in the summer it's not that bad, but I am gonna drive it daily in the summer. That's my plan because I built this car to drive. That was the first step, and once we got that all finished, we took out the car to get it painted. As you can see, no window underneath. And we did that so everything can be painted properly. And the only thing we couldn't take out were the rear windows, the side windows, because these are like super freaking expensive to get new. And also on the boot, we took out the whole entire back window so we can paint that properly as well. The back, we're not going to put a seal around anymore. We're just going to glue it in just like a modern car would be. And the front ones we have right here, all new and fresh. So we're going to put those back in the front, but new, because old ones were like super old and super dry, and got everything new here. Perfect. That was a whole ordeal. Like we waited weeks. No, actually we waited months to get it painted because timing was perfect. Summer was there, you know, we had everything ready to get painted, but then the painting got delayed because people were sick and all that stuff. So we had to delay everything, and then it was like during midsummer, it was super hot. We finally got the car to paint. Yeah. I imported special flakes from Tropical Glitz. The paint shop guy never really painted with flakes before, and he said to me, this was the first paint job where he threw away, during painting he just threw away the paint gun. It was a nightmare to paint apparently. Thank you for painting it. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Like all the flakes in the sunlight is insane. We're gonna show you in future videos. Maybe we'll put up something small here. But it came out perfect. And I wanted the front black, so my goal with this car was to make it look kind of like, not only like the model car, but kind of have it look, you know, have that racy look, have the time attack look. Of course, in Germany you can't have that look because you can't have, you know, carbon splitters that stick out far. You can't have all the crazy aero on here. But I wanted to have it look as similar as I can to that, so I went with the matte black front. Also, it's very easy to repaint the front if there's stone chips. With other paint it would not be easy, so that's another benefit of choosing the matte black front. My goal is to have kind of a small little livery on the front to bring it back to the 2000s, early 2000s, late 90s Japanese car styling, you know, the drift scene and everything, to make it kind of look cool like that. So yeah, right now no carbon fiber bits until some German company makes Stagea specific carbon bits. Maybe I'm gonna put a front lip underneath, one of those flexi ones, so if there's ever any, you know, touching the ground. I mean, the car is so high up because of, you know, German regulations. I don't think I'm gonna scrape anywhere because it's literally higher than the can. But I'm still gonna put some kind of, you know, rubber lip underneath if I find a beautiful one that fits the car. That's the plan. But for now, it's finished, and I love it. The early 2000s look with the rims, with the wheel setup, with all the paint and everything, the body parts, you know, the front dolphin grille and everything. It pretty much looks just the way I want it to. So, 2025, first video in a while. Not really good at talking to the camera anymore, but we'll get there. So we wanted to document the whole process to just, you know, show what it takes to do this. If you are thinking about importing a car and getting into all of this, it's a whole ton of work, especially if you don't know crap about cars. Thankfully, I met the right people at the right time to help me out with a lot of stuff. And so huge shout out to them again, to Dennis, to the body guy, the buddy of my dad's and me. He became a really good friend over the time. And also my dad, huge thanks to him because he drove me there every day for a year straight. with all the stress, helped me out a lot, even though he didn't really feel all that well because of his sickness. He just helped me out so much, and I'm very, very thankful for each and every one that helped me along this journey. And now it's 2025. The car is finally finished. We just patched up, you know, we did the rear caliper. So right before we put it into hibernation, one of the brakes pretty much gave in and was stuck. We're gonna fix that today. Look at this, guys. This is one piston. I didn't even know they were making that small for the motor. That's insane. That's weight saving. That's awesome.
It's very stuck.
Yeah, super stuck.
Now I will remove the seal from the front here. So here you can see the rust inside.
Oh, come on. There we go.
Because of the rust they get bigger and bigger.
Mm.
And then they get stuck and the brake gets hot. So now put some rust off inside. Wait a minute and then take a look if it's get better.
Oh wow, you can really see it there. Oh jeez, look at that. Yeah, there's a lot of gunk on that. Jesus.
Yeah. Here you see there's the sealant sitting here inside. And then the rust comes on and it gets stuck. We will take off the rust here. This is just before the piston, but just the dust seal. And here inside there's the right seal. This is the seal from the piston. In German it's called square seal. This is for the brake fluid, that it didn't comes out. And if the pistons go out a little bit, you can see the seal will deform like this. So the pistons go out, and after you release the brake pedal, pistons go like this back. So the pistons come a little bit more in this position, so that the brake pads are not on the disc again. So they release a little bit more. So now we put the lithium grease inside. This grease is extra for mounting pistons and everything from the brake. Now we put a little bit of grease on the square seal. It's very important that it sits very well inside. Otherwise the piston will get stuck again. Now you know why the new piston is so expensive. Because it's gold. Also put a little bit of grease on the piston. Then mount the dust cover. Put in the piston. It's very important that it goes smooth inside. And then put the dust cover here.
So it sits flush, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And now take the spring ring and put it also here inside. See here?
Oh yeah.
And goes there inside. Just for the dust cover, that it's spread outside and seal a little bit more. Now you have to be very carefully not to damage the new dust cover. Now the spring ring is gone.
Oh no.
And we can push in the piston just smooth.
Ooh, that's satisfying.
Yeah.
Very nice. So now everything is in there, and that was it?
Yeah, right. Then we will put in the caliper into the car.
Always make sure that you catch your fluids, don't let them drain into the ground, and always dispose of them properly. Now we're gonna take this caliper off.
Normally you put a clamp here on, but he's got a braided brake lines, so it's not possible.
Get in there. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Also be sure that both of the copper seals are on the screw, otherwise it will leaking. So now you can see here something special. The screw of the caliper is also like the bolt here, where the caliper is sliding from side to side. Normally, other cars, there's a screw going here into this bolt, and this bolt is extra, but Nissan designed it like one piece.
So Nissan actually gave us new bolts with the new piston ring. So Nissan didn't actually send the screws, they just sent the
Seals?
The seals.
Just for sniffing. Now we fill up the bleeding machine. Okay, so we fill in .5.1 brake fluid. It got a higher boiling point than the .3 or .4. .4 normally is here inside, but .5.1 is mixable to .3 and .4. So you get a better boiling point. So now we plug in the bleeder here. Now you will see. 2 bars here. And now the machine is pumping brake fluid here inside with 2 bars. And now we can open the bleeder at the back and bleed out the air what's inside in the braking system.
So you don't have to push the brake pedal as usual?
Yeah, right.
So the system is better for when you're doing work alone, right?
Working alone, and it's better because of your master brake cylinder. Sometimes when you get an old car and doesn't brake that much, yeah, you had on the bolts something like rust and dirt and something, and you push the pedal through the floor.
Through the floor?
Yeah, to the floor, sorry. Which is normally not the use of the car. Perhaps the dust will damage the seal, and then the master brake cylinder is broken.
Good to know.
We put this on the bleeding valve, then open it, and the air comes here out. And now you see the air here.
Ooh, that's a lot of air.
Yeah, it's just normal when you open the system. So now you see the air is gone. So we can shut here. And the system is bleeded.
Funny thing is, during the winter, when we started this, I went and looked at a Suzuki Wagon R, to have as a winter car. We needed something cheap to get around, you know, something that we don't really care about, but still looks cool and is fun to drive. So we got this super crappy Wagon R, and this car, oh my god. A few months earlier, I tried looking into some kind of shop or someone around here that knows about Japanese cars that could maybe help me with some things. This guy popped up, Dennis, probably already know him from the video. He's behind the camera right now. I really got to know him because I bought the Wagon R and there needed to be some work done on it because it was just such a bad car. So I contacted him and I was like, hey, you said you take care of Japanese cars, right? You know your way around. Yeah, you can come by if you want. And then I came by to like fix a bunch of things. We got talking, and it clicked right away. Like, insane to meet another person here in the Eifel, where there's normally always, you know, people that like VW and German cars and some exotics and stuff, but never really into like the JDM scene, like as deep as I was. And to meet someone that's even like deeper than me was absolutely crazy. So we got talking and everything, and later out he helped me a bunch with the car too, with putting back the windows and, you know, taking out the windows with his brother Nico. And it was just such a funny timing that we got to know each other. And look at us now. Now we're trying to do videos to, you know, document the process of what it's like owning this car, his cars, and also, you know, being in the scene in 2025. What's it like, and to inspire and also just have fun. Just build a cool little community. Anyways, funny story on the side. Sollen wir noch irgendwas sagen, oder? No? Go ahead and like and subscribe.